Start with question number 11. Please go ahead. Write about internal controls and statutory auditors. Please start.
Internal controls and the statutory auditors. Due to the limitation of time.
So who can spend lots and lots of time in the business? Internal auditor or statutory auditor? Who is having limitation of time? Automatically who can perform more? Who can't perform more? So statutory auditor can rely on the report that is given by the internal auditor, provided you should check the pros and cons and the track record of the internal auditor, and you can. At the end of the day, you cannot defend, I don't know anything, sir, I have based on internal auditor's report. No, that's not working out. You can't defend like that. Clear, everybody? Provided if the track record of internal auditor is good, you can comfortably depend on the internal auditor's report. Please go ahead.
Due to the limitation of time, an auditor can spend limited time only on a company's audit.
Okay.
Therefore, he has to decide the extent of in-depth audit of many areas, particularly the checking and verification of routine aspects of financial transactions.
Therefore, he has to decide. Statutory auditor has to decide to what extent he need to do the work. Clear, everybody? Next.
Subpara 4.
Something like that's all absolutely not needed. Caro is requiring that.
Requires that the auditor's report on whether there is a adequate internal control system commensurate with the size of the company and the nature of its business.
So just a statutory auditor So Caro is asking the internal auditor, Caro is asking that auditors report whether there is an adequate internal control system or not, which commensurates the size of the business and nature of the business. In the sense, controls should be depending on the size and nature of the business. If the size of the business is less, more controls are not needed. Ante kada. For each and every nature of business, you can't have same controls. You cannot have attendance sheet for labor who are working in an organization, like in a school. Roll number 1 present, sir, 2 present, sir. It is not working out in a factory for the labor. Understanding. They just need to go voluntarily and they have to sign it. Or they have to go for biometrics. Understood. Next. So, first of all, statutory auditor needs to get the vision of internal control. Whether they commensurate, whether they relate, whether they are sufficient with respect to the size and nature of the business or not. The Companies Act provides that audit committee may call for the comments of the auditor about the internal control system. I already told you how to appoint an auditor. Recommendation by the audit committee, provided if audit committee is there. So I already told you one more thing. If internal auditor or the auditor needs any point which is relating to audit, or internal auditor or statutory auditor or any auditor needs to discuss something about audit system, they have to discuss with audit committee or directly with board of directors. The same even Companies Act is also telling. No. What Companies Act said, I told the same. Next.
The evaluation of internal controls, including internal accounting controls, gives an opportunity to the auditor to clearer insight into the operational systems and an overall view of the organization.
So it's all about when you evaluate the internal controls, including internal accounting controls. In the sense I told you, like controls can be in two types. One is financial, and the other is non-financial. So here internal controls including internal accounting controls and including financial controls, you just have an eye on the internal control. Why, sir? It gives an opportunity to the auditor for clear understanding with the financial and operational areas of the business, where the weaknesses are there and how to overcome those weaknesses, so that internal auditor can give a better report to the management of the company, provided only when he had evaluated the internal control system including the internal accounting system. Clear, everybody? Next.
The auditor shall include in the written communication of significant deficiencies in internal control, including a description of the deficiencies.
Don't just identify the deficiencies and throw a report on the face of management. You just aware them how serious are the weaknesses, how they can affect in future. Clearly explain them. Potential effect is nothing but future effect. You have to clearly explain them. You have to give a description. These are the weaknesses in your organization. With this weakness in future, you are going to affect with this one. So that differentiation is very much important. Hey, respond. Is it clear? That is what your point number 5. Next. Sir, very simple. Relation is only one thing. Statutory auditor, it is not possible to perform each and everything. So he can rely on internal auditor's report, provided if he had done the audit on a fair and just basis. And an auditor, statutory auditor also needs to understand the internal controls. Don't tell that, oh, internal controls responsibility is only for internal auditor, not for statutory auditor. Align ledu. Even statutory auditor needs to get an evaluation and understanding of internal control system, including financial system, so as to possible to identify the weaknesses. It's only then possible to him. And the next one, don't throw the report just by stating the internal weaknesses. You also state potential effects, and if possible also give the remedial measures, suggestions. Clear, everybody? Next.
Which company is required to constitute audit committee?
This is purely a law question. Nothing great to discuss here. Check out. Sir, as per Companies Act, every listed company is supposed to constitute the audit committee. And the following classes of companies other than the listed company, which is like all the public companies which are unlisted. Public companies which are with a paid up capital more than or equal to 10 crores. And what is this called? No, I'm speaking about this one. Outstanding loans and borrowings more than or equal to 50 crores. And turnover more than or equal to 100 crores. Respond, everybody, clear? So take more care, my dear children. Each and every listed company. And the next one, only unlisted public companies, if the turnover is more than 100 crores, turnover is more than 100 crores, loans is more than 50 crores, capital is more than 10 crores. Clear, everybody? So these are the things. And sir, when to consider this paid up capital, turnover and loans, etc. and etc.? Very simple. Latest audited financial statements. LAFS. Latest audited financial statements. Respond, everybody, clear? So tell me, which companies are required to constitute audit committee? Every listed company and unlisted public company, turnover more than or equal to paid up capital, loans. While considering the numericals, which numbers are considered? Latest audited financial statements. Next one.
What is the role of audit committee?
It's purely a common question. Nothing great to discuss. And till now we have discussed like some important points and we stressed more. But here nothing great. It's like very, very simple and copy paste. Some of the points will be there. Please go ahead.
The role of the audit committee to evaluation of internal financial controls and risk management systems.
Who has to take care about internal financial controls? Audit committee. Risk management system. I already told you. Risk assessment anna, risk management anna, Risk mitigation, Anna. First common thing is that to what extent company is able to take the risk. Depending on that, they have to plan everything. So, risk management system, how to manage and mitigate the risk. For that, what are the plans and procedures you have drafted? Whose responsibility? Chapali. Next.
Reviewing with the management performance of statutory and internal auditors, adequacy of the internal control systems.
Hey, take care. Reviewing with the management performance of statutory auditor and internal auditor. See, audit committee is like a bridge, Nana. Not only for internal auditors or statutory auditors, but relates management. Audit committee is like a bridge between these two people. Hey, whether the internal auditor and statutory auditor is working properly or not, this audit committee should need to discuss with management. It needs to conduct a review meeting with the management. To what extent you are doing, to what extent they are performing, to what extent they were being observed. Understood, everybody? And in the same way, the internal auditors and statutory auditors, if they are having any problems, even those problems should be entertained by Chapali, those problems should be entertained by. Sir, on one end, auditors' problems will be addressed by, and the other end, management problems should also be addressed by. An audit committee needs to conduct review meeting with the management with respect to the work that is done by auditors, internal auditor or
Reviewing the adequacy of internal audit function, if any, including the structure of the internal audit department, staffing and
so
seniority.
you just not audit committee work is not only to conduct the review meeting of the performance of the auditor, its work is also to conduct review meetings and reviewing the adequacy of internal audit function. Likewise, how many times they have to conduct the internal audit, how the structure of internal audit department should be. Sir, I already told you, like internal auditor is more like auditor or more like employee. More like Chapali is more like, in the sense his work is totally pre-designed. And internal auditor, internal audit department is a separate department. How many staff must be there? How many, what is it called? How many staff must be given trained? You know, like companies will be appointing one employee just to conduct the internal audit also. Not only the outside chartered accountants to conduct the internal auditor as and when the time permits. They'll appoint one employee just to conduct this internal audit itself. So he'll be telling his requirements, or company will be giving some of the staff to them. Company will train them. Getting my point, everybody? So adequacy of internal audit function. How the heading of the department is there, whether he is capable or not, how the staff are there, whether any training is needed, how the work is being performed, what is the scope of internal audit, like coverage, to what extent, everything about the internal audit department.
Discussion with internal auditors of any significant findings and follow-up thereon.
Yes, just if any significant finding is there, some error is there, some hard fraud is there, or internal auditor is telling that the financial department is not working properly, accounting department is not working properly, or somewhere the internal control is poor. Okay, like that, whatever the significant findings are there, audit committee need to discuss the same, and it also need to discuss how to overcome those things by employing new internal controls.
Reviewing the findings of any internal investigations by the internal auditors into matters where there is a suspected fraud or irregularity or a failure of internal control systems of
So already covered the same. 4 and 5 are together covered. Likewise, any fraud is there, irregularity is there, they are not working properly, then how to report the same to the board of directors, everything will be discussed with audit committee. Don't forget the question.
Discussion with statutory auditors before the audit commences about the nature and
So role of audit committee is not only to concentrate on the internal audit but also on the statutory audit. Pre-audit discussion and post-audit discussion must be conducted with statutory auditor. And also, after the discussion is being done by the statutory auditor with the internal auditor or internal control department or even with the audit committee, statutory auditor can come to one conclusion: how well they have conducted with their internal audit and whether we can rely on the report submitted by the internal auditor or not. Understood, everybody? That is the role of audit committee. Nothing great. Very, very simple question. Next.
What are the major components of control environment and control activities?
Okay, take more care. Control environment and control activities. Control environment and internal control environment. Control activities in the sense? Internal control activities. Anyways, the components are as follows. ICHAMBO, which is like integrity and ethical values, human resource policies, assignment of authority and responsibility, management philosophy and operating style, board of directors and audit committee, organizational structure, commitment for competence. In a sense, internal control environment is having this many components. First one, what is the first one? Whether they are integrated, honest or not, whether they are rendering their work with ethical values or not. Here, respond clear, na? That is one of the internal control environment. So this question is relating to the auditor company. Auditor company. Company. What kind of control environment components does the company is having any? First of all, you have to concentrate on the integrity and ethical values. Clear, everybody? You know, like especially in some of the companies, harassment will be there. Workplace harassment will be there. Sexual harassment will be there. All such kind of things can be controlled only by good internal control system. Am I correct or wrong? So, integrity and ethical values, that is very much important. First of all, your control environment should have that component. And the next one, commitment to competence. Of course, yes, they must be capable. Am I correct or wrong? Employees, workers, managers, whoever are there, whether they are capable or not. Hey, you should not only see the ethical values of the organization or ethical values of the employees of the company. Also check out whether they are competent or not, capable or not. And the next one. Or the next one. You know, like what kind of human resource practices and policies they are having. Let me tell you one interesting thing. Even exit interviews will be recorded. Exit interviews will be recorded. You know, like by the moment when you are supposed to enter in the company for a job, you have to attend the interview, which is called as entry interview. Enta hard untayante normally. I'll tell you the link, listen carefully. Purchase department needs some of the employees. What it has to do? It has to contact the HR department. Who has to give the advertisement? HR department. Who has to plan for the advertisement? So HR department will plan for the advertisement and the same advertisement will be forwarded to purchase department first. They have to approve whether the skills, competence, values, everything. HR, sir, ultimately who are going to appoint a person? HR. So HR department will be preparing the advertisement and it will be forwarded to the purchase department. And then it will be approved by the purchase department and again it will be reverted back to the HR department. Now who will advertise? It is a duty of HR department to employ a person. Getting my point, everybody? Yes, finally one person had come. He was speaking, he got selected. In one of the companies, and each and every company is having their own policy. Say, for example, policy might be like this. In the first 3 months, if at all the same employee is leaving the organization, in the first 3 months, if the same employee is leaving the organization, then it is the responsibility of HR department to know and to retain him. They are answerable actually. HR department are answerable. Say for example, a person is employed in purchase department. Okay. Within 3 months, he is just leaving the organization. Then who is answerable for that? For the first 3 months, initially HR department is also answerable. Of course, purchase department is anyway answerable. Along with purchase department, HR department is also answerable for that. Why? Did he not like the salary? Or is he getting hike somewhere else? If yes, why did not you provide that much to them? You know, salary will be fixed not by the board of directors. It will be fixed by HR itself. They will be having budget. For purchase department, this much is the budget. They will be having some target. Within that target, within that budget, they have to bargain with the employee. You may ask, sir, vallaki em poindi, sir. Let them offer some good price. No. That's the reason companies board of directors are very talented. HR departments will be getting commission basing on the bargaining that they have done with the employees. If at all employee is getting less salary because, employee was appointed with a less salary because of this HR department, persons who are involved in that interview will be getting some commission. Anyways, think how carefully they have planned. They have planned the same. How carefully they have planned that. Commission is one time. Don't think that was compensated. Commission is one time. But salary is monthly wise. Hope you're getting my point. Moreover, they don't give that difference in cash. They'll just rise in the form of percentage. If you save 10,000, then 10,000 into 10% will be your commission. Yeah. For one employee in 1 month. For one interview. Think. This is how they'll work. Corporate will work in such style. అసలు ఒకసారి ఆలోచించండి, నిజం మాట్లాడుకుంటూ and remember, each and every interview will be recorded. Whether you have bargained or not, whether he is capable or not. Irony is that even exit interviews have to be recorded. If one person left the organization, yes, that interview has to be recorded. Why he is leaving the organization? What is he expecting? Whether he needs more. If he wants more, and if HR department is not ready to offer, then why HR department is not ready to offer? You can't tell merely like, hey, if I did not offer, if I offered at a lesser price, I'll get my commission. Kada. That's not answer at all. They won't admit that answer also. You have to prove the management that similar kind of person with similar talent can be appointed at a lesser salary in the market. Prove that. Then you will be getting your commission. Think. Anyways, that is all about your HR policies and practices. I told you about HR department, but human resource policies and practices ante how the employees are appointed, what are the benefits that you are giving to employees, what kind of bonus that you are giving to employees. At the end of the day, my dear children, employees should never get dissatisfied. I used to tell this in management audit. Employees are like sword. Employees are like sword. As long as the management is taking care about the employees, the blunt side will be at the management and the sharp side is at the sharp edge is at the outsiders. If any outsider is coming in, they'll cut it like anything. But if management is not taking care, they'll just reverse it. They'll just backstab the management like anything. And they'll join the hands with outsider. The blunt side is with the outsiders and the sharp side is with the management. So employees are like sword. నిజం చెప్పాలంటే for an organization, who are more dangerous అంటే employees. Fact which should be admitted. Provided as long as the management is taking care, board of directors are taking care, they admit their hard loyal sense in their work. Otherwise, everything will be reversed. Anyways, the next one, assignment of authority and responsibility. Your control environment should have one of the component like who is having the authorization power. Sir, hope you have remembered in one of the points yesterday you have learnt. Never give too much authority to any one person. Authority should always be given only on dash basis. Need to have basis. Revise cheyali at least once. Anyways, authority should be given only on need to have basis. So that is actually important. So to whom authority was given and who is responsible and accountable for their work. And what is the next one? Management philosophy and operating style. Likewise, how they are operating. Work from home, or you have to attend, or permanent work from home, or else weekly fashion of 2 days working. Getting my point, everybody? All those things matter a lot and lot. And what is the management philosophy towards the employees? Management philosophy towards the controls. What are their goals? What are their objectives? Even on those things also, there should be some internal controls. I hope you have remembered what is the question. What the question is? Components of control environment. Likewise, internal control should have all these components. They have to frame controls for each and everything. Yes, even on management philosophy and operating style, they should have some controls. Only then they will be knowing whether the management among themselves are working properly or not. Next. Board of directors or audit committee participation. At the end of the day, even how efficient the audit committee is working, even on that also they should have some controls. And finally, organizational structure. Organizational structure can be either a triangular structure or which is called as popularly trapezium structure. Anedu chepta untaru. Anyways, the point is that top level management, mid level management, bottom level management and some ground staff. Or it can be either a vertical structure. Likewise, top level will be at top and slowly the levels will be down. And it can also be a horizontal structure. Likewise, everything will be employed only at one floor or in one line itself. Clear, everybody? So it's something like this. Understood? What kind of structure is basing on what kind of structure you will be having your own controls. Respond clear? This is all about the components of control environment. What is the meaning of components of control environment? You have to frame internal controls on all those components. Considering all these factors, considering all those components, you should frame some internal controls. The next one.
Control activities.
Control activities, which is nothing but PIPs. Various policies and procedures helps and necessary actions are to be taken in order to address the controls. In the sense, after framing the controls, sir, you should frame the controls by considering all those components or factors. And now, whether the activities, performance is proper or not. Number 1, performance reviews. Number 2, information processing, how the passage of information is there. Number 3, physical controls, likewise security. Number 4, segregation of duties. Already we have done the last one, segregation of duties. Now coming to the next one, physical control. You know, a new person can't enter MNC. A new person can't enter MNC. If you're not having an ID card, in some of the MNCs, you can't enter at all. Because provided when you show your ID card, whenever it is having one barcode, only when it was scanned, you can enter the organization. If you have forgotten ID card on any day, option number 1, go back and get your ID card. Option number 2, take leave. And option number 3, which is a lengthy process, you have to contact your team leader and he has to get the approvals from the top level authorities, and from then you're going to get the permission, and then security will unlock it manually. Then you can enter. Otherwise you cannot. Leave. And you know, corporates are very particular. Enta particular ante, I seriously tell you what happened recently in one of my relatives who is working in a Singapore MNC at Chennai. He was actually suffering from fever, high fever. So, of course, all the MNCs are centralized AC. So, he's working, but he's shivering like anything. So, in his department, if I was not wrong, around 12 members are there in his block. All the 12 members told, it's okay, Bhargav, you can just go and ask the floor manager. They'll just put off the AC, or they'll just decrease the, they'll just increase the temperature. He told, and he asked this floor manager, whoever is there. He told simply one thing: sorry, sir, we are very sorry. It was been a decision which was taken in by board of directors in board meeting that the temperature should be at 24 degrees centigrade. Think how particular they are actually. నువ్వు నీకు నచ్చినప్పుడు ఏసీ తీసుకుని టప 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 మారుస్తూ కూర్చుంటావు. ఆయన ఏసీ దొరకకపోతే యుల్ టేక్ ద మొబైల్ ఫోన్ అండ్ యుల్ డూ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్. బట్ ద సేమ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ పాసిబుల్ ఇన్ ఏ కార్పొరేట్. జస్ట్ టు పుట్ టెంపరేచర్ ఎట్ వాట్ డిగ్రీస్, దే విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ డెసిషన్స్. అండ్ they at that time, the floor manager or whoever is there, he had given a chart. When the outside temperature is more than 40 degrees, how much temperature should be inside the MNC? Yes, it was like that. He was literally shocked, and even myself too. Because I don't know, I know that board meeting will be conducted for every nonsense, but I did not think that they will be conducting a board meeting even on this one also. Anyways, they are having their own procedures and plans. So that is how the physical control. So these are some physical controls. And information processing. After the completion of your work, whether you have done accurately or not, completely or not, whether it is properly authorized or not, and to whom you have passed that, what is that called, process of your work. Because every day after coming, you have to, after closing or after completion of a task, you just need to report. You know, one more thing, especially in software, their job is like Dina Dina Gandam and Noorellu Aish. Because you know how their work will be. And in some companies will recruit a software employee on the basis that we are having a contract now. The contract will work for 2 years. Okay. And by the moment when this contract is completing, you should satisfy the clients and you should be enough capable of taking another contract. Otherwise, you will not be having job in that company. Remember, for work, you have to talk to the clients, but not for the salary. For salary, you have to talk to the company. And it is something like this. Say if it is a company, and if company is employing some employees, and these employees have to work for clients, not for company. This company is like a platform. This company is like a bridge offering work to the employees. It will bring some clients. So clients have to interact with the employees. If at all the clients were satisfied, then automatically employees will be having their work. If the client is not satisfied, employee will not be having the work. This is well-developed MNC's culture will be. Well-developed MNC's work culture will be like that. But there are some companies who themselves will be asking the clients to come and employees will be retained in the business. But think even this kind of culture is also there. I asked you to go through the work cultures. Did you remember? I have given you an assignment of Tesla and Google. But there are many other companies. Just inquire. Just do some research. You will be finding some interesting things. Wherever అలాంటివి అసలు ఎప్పుడు నువ్వు ఫైండ్ చేసి కూడా ఉండు. ఏం లేదు, just on a random search అంతే. Work culture of so and so company. If you type it, you'll get it in the Google. Nothing great. Anyways, let's go ahead. The next one, performance reviews. At the end of the day, actual versus budgeted should always be compared. Whether you have completed your task or not should always be considered. Respond, everybody understood. That is the end of your question number 14. And now question number 15, which is an important question again. Question number 15 is important.
Explain the features of good internal control system. Features of a good internal control system. Proper organization structure.
Yes, an organization structure is very much important. Organization structure with segregation of duties, proper authorization, accuracy of information, passage of information, reporting, everything, what not. Whatever you write, that is organizational structure only. Whatever you write, that's organization structure. Segregation of duties, internal check, controls, passage of information, performance, reviewing, reporting, everything. Organizational structure. It should be proper, then automatically your internal control system is proper. Ante, a good internal control system will be having a good organizational structure. Next.
Scheme of authorization and procedures.
Yes, proper authorizations are very much needed. Never give too much authority to one person. Give the authority only on need to have basis. That is nothing but this one. Next.
Internal check.
That is nothing but cross-checking or simultaneous checking or peer reviews. I told you that already. Segregation of duties. Counting will be done by one person. Loading and unloading by another person. Recording by another person. Hey, even the same you can see in the shopping malls also. Cash will be collected by one person. Delivery is given by another person. Billing will be done by the same person. Getting my point, everybody? But reporting is done to another person. So at the end of the day, your bills should be matched with your... Am I correct or wrong? Sir, if at all only one person is there, what is the problem? Manipulation can be more. How, sir? Very simple. Take the costly item. Say, for example, you can manage that person. Bill for the wrong item and get the same back. At last, nothing great. Misplacement. Because in big shopping malls, normal loss is also quite common. Misplacements is also quite common. Whether you believe or not, recently happened to me in a shopping mall. I just have lost my credit note anukunta. Ante. I just have gone to a shop and I have done the shopping. I would like to return something. So I've gone the same shop for returning it. I've returned the good. He had given me the credit note. We have gone for lunch. We had come back, but somewhere credit note is missing. I lost it somewhere. He simply told, we are helpless, sir. That credit note is equal to cash. I asked them to print one more credit note. They have showed me their software in a clear-cut way that one more time printing credit note option is not there in that software at all. That is a good internal control. Seriously good internal control. If there, they can do the time, they can do the same for 2 to 3 times also. Yes or no? Provided for the second time after printing, you might simply tell, no sir, we lost it. And hence, but who knows? What is the proof for that? ఏముంది ఒకసారి వాడికి ఇంకోసారి వీడికి క్రెడిట్ నోట్ చేసుకుంటాడు అంతేనమ్మా. Like that for 1 month he'll be doing it continuously. After that 1 month he'll just shift his job to some other company. Over. And think how greatly they are customizing their software also. I pleaded with them like anything. Sir, print another credit note or give it to me. Or else you know kada, you have given it in the morning kada. No, because that credit note details will not be saved in the system at all. That credit note will be having one number. That number should be entered. Only then it is possible. సరే ఇంతకీ మీకు ఇప్పుడు అల్టిమేట్లీ అది అయిందా అవ్వలేదా అనే కదా మీ డౌట్. It was not completed on that day. I have written a request letter and that request letter was forwarded to the head office. I don't know, he told నాకు గుర్తున్నంత వరకు the head office of that shopping mall is at Visakhapatnam. He forwarded that letter to the higher authority, because I can't leave that around 2,500 rupees involved in that. If it is like 200 or 300, it's okay, let it be. But around 2,500 rupees shopping items are involved in that. I strive to take some other item. So at any cost, I have taken it with my personal money, but exactly after 1 week they have called me and they told, okay sir, your credit note is approved now. They will not give the credit note, anta. They'll just give the credit note number. It is highly impossible to print once again. So they'll give the credit note number, anta. Depending upon that credit note, it can be adjusted. But ila manlanti vallu untaru kada. At that time, they will adjust that credit note for cash. But there are some other shopping malls which will not give cash for credit note at any cost, anta. They will just create a voucher for you and they'll just give a voucher to you. In future, you can shop for the same. Anyways, all these are the process. Slowly, after learning many things, especially whether you believe or not, I have done all these researches and out of my personal experiences, out of going through net, etc. and etc. after catching up this subject itself. Before catching up with this subject, I don't have such a work at all. Credit note pote poni ante ayipoyindi. But how the system is working, I have got interest only at that time to know how strong their internal controls are. Let me tell you one more example. Hope you know Naths and DMart. So you can actually park your vehicle within the premises of that, and provided if you have done the bill, parking is free. If you did not do the bill, you have to pay 20 rupees. Naths and DMart. I'm not speaking about every DMart. In every DMart, parking is free. But here it was not like that. Because that entire parking is not belonging to DMart at all. Parking money is not relating to DMart. Parking money will be taken by some other person. For your kind information, at the end, if you observe, he will collect the bill also. He'll just staple it, which is acting as a proof for which you have done the shopping. And one more thing, they are having a policy, anta. The policy is that more than 500 if you shop, or more than 200, I was not pretty sure, more than 200 or 500 if you shop, then you will be getting parking as free. Okay. But on that day, what we actually have done, we went into the DMart, we have parked the vehicles inside the premises itself. We actually went for shopping only, but we got some work, urgent work. Some other person is waiting at our home. So we have to quit and we have to come back. But if we have come without shopping, then they'll charge 20 plus 20, 40 rupees. 2 bikes we are having. So we have decided to shop it. So I took one curd packet and some other person had took one milk packet. We billed it and we actually got that bill. And what is the slip? And we are just exiting from the DMart and authorities had stamped on the same. Like parking is free. Thank you, visit again, parking is free, like that. We went there. We are showing to him. But he is not admitting the same. Why? Because they told their policy. They told their policy. But I plead with them like, okay, we don't know that policy. We being customers, how can we know that policy? That has to be taken care by the people who stamped there. Ante kada. It must be taken care by the people who have stamped at the exiting point, at the point of exit. So I have played the same. Of course, argued. Argument went for around 15 minutes. This person is waiting here. I don't want to lose that 40 rupees. Because for that 40 rupees, I actually billed around 55 rupees. Anyways, keeping all the things aside, we finally got that. But how the customers will be knowing the internal controls that were being happening in the organization? So what my point is that it is very important to aware the staff and to communicate the staff what are their internal policies. Internal controls must be properly communicated. Did you remember? So they must be properly communicated to the staff. Only then they can work efficiently. Sir, it is whose point to communicate it to the staff? Of course, not the top level management. Top level management will not convey all these things. It's the work of their respective team leaders or the bottom level management actually to communicate everything to the ground staff. Anyways, understood everybody? Yeah, actually these many internal controls will be there. You know, like again, I don't know exactly at what shop or it is shopping mall or ekdo, I've forgotten it, but somehow they'll give some tokens. Am I correct or wrong? I stored my vehicle, I stored my luggage. Shopping mall ankunta. I was not pretty sure. I stored my bags and they've given the token. Somewhere I lost the token. No, not at T-Mart. Somewhere I have forgotten that. I'll tell you my practical experience. How strong are the internal controls? I'll tell you that. Listen. ఎక్కడో అక్కడ నాకు గుర్తులేదు అది. Somehow I lost the token and the security is not giving my bag at all. He's denying to give it. But somehow he told, sir, you just wait, sir. ఇక్కడ ఒక 3 bags ఉన్నాయి. That was the closing time actually. So there were 3 bags. By the time when 2 bags were taken by the other people, I can give it back to you. Otherwise, if anything wrong happened, I lost my job. He told it. తప్పు మందే కదా. So I should admit it. And the other 2 people had taken and he's giving my bag to me. I told you at the closing time, manager is coming forward. Sir, give us the token. I lost my token. He's asking me, give the token. But I lost my token. Security guard knows that. I knows that. He doesn't know that. And he's asking you to pay a fine of 50 rupees or 100 rupees. He's asking us to pay the fine. But I plead something like, why should I pay the fine? Nowhere it was mentioned. Even on the tagline, even on the coin what they have given or the token, if this loss you have to pay the fine. That was not mentioned. Yes, that was not mentioned anywhere. So what my intention is like, internal controls must be properly communicated. If they were not properly communicated, many wrong things will happen in an organization. Hope you're getting my intention. Sir, everywhere where you see there are some internal controls. Even at the samosa point, there will be some internal controls. Yes. నువ్వు తినేసి బిల్ పే చేయకుండా పోతే ఎలా? అందరూ ఎలా మారిపోయారు? ఫస్ట్ షో us the bill, then we will give you the samosa. Am I correct or wrong? That is how. Anyways, the next one, internal check, already done. Internal audit system, nothing great. If you read it, you'll understand. Something like delegation of supervisory functions like review of control. Internal audit constitutes a separate component of internal control system undertaken by specially assigned staff with an objective to determine whether the controls are well designed properly or not. Hey, what do you mean by internal control, Amma? Audit of internal controls. The same point is being told here. Internal audit constitutes a separate component called internal control system, specially assigned the staff with an objective to determine whether the internal controls are designed properly or not. All this is the answer for features of good internal control system. Next.
State the statutory requirements with respect to internal auditors.
Statutory requirements. First one.
Persons eligible to be an internal auditor.
Sir, who can be eligible to work as an internal auditor? Of course, a chartered accountant, cost accountant, or any other professional as may be decided by the management or audit committee, provided they should have expertise in this field. The saddest part enti ante, they'll tell that they want experience, but without giving a job, how the experience will come? I'll be seeing some of the notifications. They'll be telling you need this one, we want this one. Sir, it's very less if you would like to get a job off campus placements. Gurtu pettukondi. For everyone I'm telling, after completion of CMA, during the process of completion of CMA, get the practical experience immediately. Sir, to get the practical experience, you have to do the articleship for sure. If not, what to do? You take dummy, it's okay. But at least work for 6 months somewhere. నేను ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పా కదా, ఇట్స్ మై పర్సనల్ పాలసీ. యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ ఐమ్ నాట్ ప్రొవైడింగ్. ఇఫ్ ఐమ్ రెడీ టు ప్రొవైడ్, ఐల్ ప్రొవైడ్ T5 ఓన్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ ద 6 months ఆఫ్ వర్క్. వై షుడ్ ఐ స్పాయిల్ వన్స్ లైఫ్? నువ్వు 15,000 10,000 5,000 7,000 ఇస్తే 2 సంతకాలతో పని అయిపోతుంది. బట్ ఎంటైర్ ఫ్రటర్నిటీ ఈస్ గెటింగ్ డిస్టర్బ్డ్. Why at some places cost accountants were seen at lesser point? Only because of all these things. So better to get some practical experience during the completion of your CMA course itself. If not, if you can't attend anywhere, just YouTube will help you like anything. How to file GSTR and kotostundi. GST returns. Just know the deadlines. Know how to file it. Know about the portal. ఏం లేదు, జిఎస్టీ పోర్టల్ ఓపెన్ చేసి నువ్వే కొంచెం పెంట చేస్తే యుల్ గెట్ సంథింగ్. యూ జస్ట్ రిజిస్టర్ ఏ కంపెనీ ఆటోమేటిక్లీ విత్ యువర్ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ రిజిస్టర్. నథింగ్ గ్రేట్. ఎస్ యూ క్యాన్. అండ్ ఓపెన్ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ రిటర్న్. హౌ టు ఫైల్ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ రిటర్న్, జస్ట్ టైప్ ఇట్, లర్న్ ఇట్. సార్ నేను ఇది ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నానో మీకు నిజంగా ఇప్పుడు అర్థం కాదు. Those who are not having practical experience, I'm speaking about those people. Once you attend the interview, you'll understand the importance of that. Gurtupetkondi. It's very difficult to get a job at off-campus placements. On campus, they'll take even when you're having 0 years experience. Off placements, they need experience. Even though they are telling we don't need experience, they'll take first references. First priority is to the referred people. Hey, not recommendation. Referred people. Nowadays, reference is more important than recommendation. Because in majority of the companies, they are not considering the recommendations at all. They are just throwing it aside. ఇప్పుడు రికమెండేషన్స్ ఎక్కడైనా ఉన్నాయంటే ఓన్లీ ఇన్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. No private organization is taking the employees on recommendation basis. But references are working out. Difference అంటే ఏం లేదు. నీకు ఎవరైనా తెలిసిన వాళ్ళు ఉంటే అంతే. Say I'm working in an organization, I'm referring you. So you will be given priority rather than the person who had applied on a, what is it called, without having any reference. Anyways, so that is how your market is all about. It doesn't mean that your market is not having jobs. Super jobs are there for your market. Yes, for cost accountants, there are very good jobs. Many of the friends have cleared their CMA and have gone to jobs. Yeah, even I got in one of the corporates. Without interview, I got actually. Depending upon rank and depending upon the, sir, you know, even you will be having edge if at all you're mentioning in your CV or resume that if you have done audit for so and so company or so and so bank, you'll be having that edge. And ivanni eppudu help out avutayi ante by the moment when they are having doubt to take which person. Say 2 persons are equally capable. 2 persons are equally capable. Whom should be picked? Then they'll go with all these additional items. Who is having more experience? Anyways, let me continue in the tomorrow's session with question number 16.